Hello everyone, and welcome back to Artful Holidays, 12 Days of Festive Fun. And today I thought we could just do maybe one larger piece, an abstract, or I could cut that in half and we could do two kind of smaller pieces. Could do that. You know, I like to do more than one piece at a time because then if I don't like it, maybe I'll like one and not the other, or if something doesn't work out on one piece, it's not the whole big piece that we just did. So now that I thought about it, now that we just talked our way into that, let's just do that. Let's do two little pieces and we'll work, you know, you can work your way up from there, but I like that. And I thought maybe we would do a color palette challenge in these pieces with a color palette that comes in your little holiday color palettes collection that I gave you. So definitely check for that download in the description. And I thought that maybe we would do some mark making, and I haven't had these lovely Art Grafts tailor shaped water-soluble chalks out in a while, so maybe we could do some mark making and then maybe some watercolor. So I've got out some of these Kuretake watercolors. Most of these come out of this Art Nouveau set, and I did pull black out of the big 48 piece set. So I've got the Potter's Pink number 19, I pulled out number 20 black, pulled out 301 Old Mauve, 402 Mars Yellow, and 403 Venetian Red. And I thought that gets us pretty close. Let's see what we can create today. And so I'm actually going to do some abstracts and mark making. So I was kind of thinking, you know, we could start off with some pencil if we wanted some marks. I've got my 14B Faber-Castell pencil, which is one of my favorite. And a lot of times what I like to do, especially if I'm working on a white page like this and I'm like, oh no, where do I even get started? A lot of times mark making is what I will do to mess up the page, and then you kind of get rid of that blank page that's, you know, kind of paralyzing. So thought maybe we could just start there. And then we can mark make. We can mark make in black. Do we want to mark make in black, or do we want to mark make in the red? Because the red is in our color. They're water soluble, so we could dip this in water and draw with it, or we could push it around with a paintbrush dipped in water. Let's just dip it in water and let's see what we can get here. And it's kind of intuitively marking here, but I generally personally don't start in the middle with my mark making. I will start off on one side or the other and kind of work my way towards the center. Just kind of helps me not center a composition. Okay, so I really liked that. I don't know if I'll like this. Will we like this? I don't know, I'm not feeling the red one. Okay, I'm feeling the black one. It's probably going to move around a bit with watercolor as we're working. Let me just wet this down with some water and just see where we're going today. I don't know where we're going. Where are we going? I'm going to pull out my Princeton Neptune set. I love that set. And I'm going to be using the 3/4 inch square wash brush because I like it, and it's bigger and it'll help me kind of move around the page a bit. And let's see, what color do we want to start with? I'm kind of feeling the pink, so let's just do that. And so I'm holding the brush to the side. If you hold it like this, you almost have too much control if you hold it like a pencil. So generally I don't like to hold it like a pencil because with abstracts I don't want that control. It's too contrived when it's too precise. So I hold it like this and I have less control, and I'm on the side, but I'm not really scraping like the whole side of it. I'm kind of tilted in a bit, but it gives me the opportunity to scrub the brush a little bit, and these brushes hold up fantastic to the scrubbing that I tend to play and do with the brushes. And so I'm looking for less control, something a little more organic, something that's going to flow through the piece and just be kind of just something that you're not going to get otherwise. And two, I might even get my bowl scraper. If I get something that's sitting in one place too much, I might just take that bowl scraper and just manipulate that around a little bit. Whoa, that's what I wanted. And I might twist the brush a little bit and get some lovely texture in the way that that watercolor is hitting my piece. We might get in there with the chalk and make that squish around a little further, because it's water soluble, so it's not permanent. It's not going to stay where you put it if you go over it again. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, I don't know about these colors, but we're sticking to the color palette, because I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, what? Whoa! Where I'm like, trust the process, because it has not failed us more times than it has failed us. And just by going in there and doing some color that I never would have tried before have been some of my very, very favorite pieces when I'm all done. So now I definitely am about trying to trust the process as I'm going. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. All right, let's try this next color. And then now that, you know, we've got this going, doesn't look very Christmassy, does it? Or holiday-ishy. But that's kind of the amazing thing about doing stuff like this, is it's pretty fantastic where some of these kind of end up that we didn't expect. I've been surprised more often than not where we end up in a good way, because you just don't know. You just don't know. Like, how is this going to work? Let's experiment and figure it out. Okay. I'm kind of loving that. I kind of want to see if there's enough water on there. If we can get some cardboard to soak up some of that, and we might even, hang on. Okay, I got my cardboard bits and pieces, but I'm almost thinking maybe a little bit of, say, this shelf liner. Like, let's see if we can get some different textures going. This is just shelf liner, and I may have to wet it down a little bit because now I've let it dry some. But the other thing I wanted to try a little piece of is some corrugated cardboard. And we're experimenting here, so I don't know if this is going to work or not, but because I'm kind of let this dry a tiny bit, I'm going to spritz it, which will also give us some texture. And then I'm going to set something heavy on top of these to kind of let them dry. There we go. And we'll just see what we get. And we'll see how that kind of does its thing. So let's let these dry and push the water and soak up the water and do whatever. And we've got some fun little texture I just created with squirting some water on there. So let's see what that does. And I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, let's see what we got. See, now this is what I like about this stuff. It kind of gathers it and pulls it right around it and gives it a fun texture. It may not be completely dry, so I might dry that before it all swooshes back together. There we go. And then the cardboard, that's what I love. Oh my gosh, that is what I love. When we get that vertical lines on there, that's some pretty stuff. Okay, so I'm kind of feeling, these two are my favorite little mark making things. Let's put those over there. I'm kind of thinking, what if we do some brush mark stencil work? So we could do it with a brush, or I could do it with a stencil. This is Joggles Crosshatch. I thought maybe just some interesting mark making somewhere. So do I do it in the pink? Do we do it in that purple? Do we do it in that orange? We could do it in the black, but I feel like I got enough black in there because I got black in there. I'm almost kind of thinking crazy orange. But I also kind of like this kind of crazy orange mungyo one too. That could be some mark making. Oh my gosh, decisions, decisions. I get it, I get it. I can pull out, see the orange is like orange. It's not that pretty muted orange. But if we look at our inspiration color palette, it is pretty close to the color palette. So maybe we want a little bit of orange. Maybe I'll mix the pink and orange. What do I want? Let's see if we mix some pink and orange and get like a little, maybe some ombre brush marks. And I'm kind of feeling on this one, like maybe right through here. I want it to be up this way, because I see now that some of these are all two sets going the same way. All right, let's just be brave and tack in some mark making here. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, a sigh of relief there. I kind of, now that I did that, let's get it lined back up. I kind of feel like it needs to come down this one little side and go off the page so it's continuing that way. Yeah. Okay, I'm feeling that. Okay, I feel better now. Good choice. I was kind of doubting it, because I was like, is that what I want? Because it started out, I love it. I don't want to ruin it. But pink and orange mixed for the win. Can't make a choice. Pick both of them. Oh my gosh. It's all about having some fun, exploring, figuring stuff out. What do you like? Playing with your materials. And what I like the best is the exploring materials. And so that just might be what I do for the rest of my art career. I just might explore all the things and just see, what does this do if I do this? Oh, okay. Good choice. All right. I'm feeling better now. I like that. Good one, Joggles. So that was Crosshatch at Joggles. That is a favorite stencil. I have used that before and really liked it. So now I'm kind of thinking, stick that in the water. Maybe I'll not leave my brush in the water. I'm really bad about that when I'm filming, forgetting I have a brush in the water, but I do kind of reshape my bristles and then set those out to dry. And this one's plastic, so you know, generally you want to set a brush maybe on its side to dry so that all that water doesn't go back there into like the wood ferrule. I mean into the wood handle through the ferrule, but sometimes I set them in there like that, and you really need to let them dry like this before you put them back. But I mean, you can see how beautifully that reshapes back to its correct bristle shape if you just kind of stay on top of cleaning your brushes and stuff. Okay, so I've got the Mungyo pastels that kind of are sitting over here on my desk because I feel like I want to use maybe this color as some dots in here maybe, and then I might do some Posca dots after that, like some paint dots or something, because I'm feeling pretty good about these now. Like, these colors are kind of amazing. Who knew that you could take like a Christmas palette or a Christmas inspiration or something from like a holiday theme and end up with something so lovely that's not necessarily holiday or Christmas. All right, let's just do it. Look at that. It's almost that color. All right, is that too much, that color? There's like no contrast with us there. I was not expecting that. That's a very interesting. So now I feel like maybe I should have gone with the purple. Let's see. Let's test out a purple here and see if we like it. So here's a purple. Oh, that is a good color. Okay, now I'm kind of feeling like purple. This is a dark, this is 212 and this is 237. So we'll put 237 back and let's see. Look at there. Look at there, right on top. Totally hit it. Now the only thing you can go on top of an oil pastel with is another oil pastel. You cannot go over an oil pastel with paints or anything. This is like definitely needs to be the very last layer, even though we might go in with a few more things. After this, you definitely can't go on top of this particular layer with anything. And then yes, you do have to seal that layer when you do that. So I have the Sennelier oil pastel fixative that I just take this outside and do a couple of light sprays. Spray it lightly, let it dry, spray it lightly, let it dry. Don't do a heavy layer, a couple of thin layers and let them dry in between. I do that because then the oil pastel will dry. Otherwise, that oil pastel doesn't really seem to dry. And really, I mean, that should be kind of obvious too as you think about it, because these little sticks don't dry. I mean, you can have these sitting for years and go back and you can still use them and they're still kind of creamy. So that kind of says on the paper it's going to do the same thing. And I never really realized that till I thought about it, and I'm like, huh, yeah, that doesn't really dry. Okay, I'm liking that. Feeling pretty good about that placement. I don't know about that placement, but it is what it is. Now I'm kind of thinking, okay, yay for the purple. Let's put the purple right there. And I'm kind of thinking, do we need any like little extra gold? Yes, let's do the gold. Oh yeah, I know you felt that coming, or you were probably thinking it, or you were screaming it at that computer, gold, or TV, wherever you're watching it. So that's my Kuretake Gold mica ink here in the fine liner. And my cheat for getting this stuff in this bottle, when you open that up and you got that little thing, if you don't have like a little funnel, which is kind of messy, use a pipette. Pipette it into this and squeeze it into that. And that is the easiest way to get the ink in the little fine liner bottle. Don't know if I mentioned that when I pull this out, but that's the way it does. And I like this because it's got a really fine tip, and then it's got this little needle that goes in the tip to keep it from clogging. And then you're set. So, all right, let's do this. Let's move this out of my way so I don't put my hand in it, which we know I'll do. And I don't want it to be, and I hold it almost parallel because I want to be able to control it, and if you hold it up and down it just comes out way too fast. So almost parallel with the page. If you've got a big drip at the tip before you get started, just kind of tap that off to the side, because you don't want more of this getting on here than you intended. But I like it because of the texture that we get with these big thick ink dots, which are going to be bigger than if I used a gold pen. And so that's kind of my goal there, is the size and the texture and the shine. I want the shine more than anything. I want you to be able to come from the side and be like, ooh, what is that lovely shimmer that I see? Okay, so I love that, and I'm almost feeling like maybe I want to have some little fine lines over here. And even though I said, you know, you're not going to be able to go over that purple, you could probably swish through it and get away with that. And that's so fine that you might not see it until you get up close and kind of look in the light. It's just very slight, which I like. I like that. Okay, so let's come over here. I like that enough to try that over here and then do some dots. So maybe get it started over here so you feel like you got the feel of it and you're getting a fine line before you start it on your page, because you don't know how many times I've put it on the page and got a big gigantic flop and then thought, that was not what I wanted. More times than I can count. So maybe get it started off to the side on a scrap piece of paper and then go from there. Ooh, I like that. Let's put a few up here. And we'll let the gold be our little holiday nod, the little shimmery lights that we'll get as the light shines on it. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all. Definitely loving these pieces. More so than I actually expected. Yes. Okay, gold in the fine liner for the win. Just get it started off to the side and then you're ready. Now, I kind of want to have like a pretty edge on these too, possibly, but I do. Let's just peel it and see where we're at. And then you can decide if you want to do like a little torn decal edge on it, on your pieces. If you do, you might leave a bigger edge than what I've left on here. And I want to be real careful. I know that gold is wet on that tape, so don't be touching the paper with the gold paint. And then I'll take my little cutter and I'll cut that even there. Oh, look at that. I think I've got like some oil pastel right there that I need to tap off. I'm actually thrilled with where we've gone with this piece. There's some oil pastel like right there. Oh good, I got it. Oh, if I touched it or smeared it or rubbed it with my finger, that would have definitely been in a spot that I didn't want it to go. So I might just take my microfiber cloth and wipe my fingers off. But check it out. This is awesome. We have ended up in a super cool place with our color palette inspired by the holiday color palettes, and I think we did a pretty good job of working with the colors that we had here on our piece and getting something that I never actually was thinking we were going to end up when I started. Because sometimes, you know, I do have something in mind, which is how I'm like, oh, let's start with an abstract, or let's start with a, you know, little bitty pieces of paper. Let's start with, you know, my book. I'll kind of have a direction I want to go. And even though it kind of seems like there's no plan, there actually kind of was a tiny bit of a plan for setting me in a direction, but then being okay with the results of those decisions that I made. This is a super cool set. Hope you enjoyed painting with me today. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.